I guess.
Yes, I am in Barcelona holidays.
Do you spend it there often, or is this
No,
kind
I've
of like
been
this
just
year?
couple. No, it's just I've been there sometimes on holidays and one time to play a concert, but yeah, now it's just to play. It's just for holidays.
Very nice. Are you in the region, or are you in the city?
I am in the city.
Ah, man, you must be eating so good. I love this
Yeah, the
place.
weather is good. We visit some museums, some stuff, so it's nice.
Do you know this place called El Nacional?
No, what's that?
Oh my God, you have to go. I'm gonna send it to you. Like it's like
Okay, send me.
it's like a Chelsea market thing. You walk in there and there's like it looks like an old train station or something like
Yes,
that.
yes,
It's
yes,
like
yes, 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 yes. Is
it's
it
close
near
to
the Ramblas?
yeah, exactly. It's near the
Yes, we've
Ramblas,
been
and you
there.
go in
Yeah,
there
yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
like it's so good. I love that place.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We've been there
Cool,
today,
man.
actually. Yes.
Oh, you're making me
It
hungry
works
now.
fine.
Yeah, it works perfect. Works perfect, man.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I love the Fabio. You're the one that is looking the best, the best for now. You're the most Christmassy. I have this like old plant here.
Well,
Very nice.
it's a bit weird to have Christmas decoration here in this heat, but it's okay.
Yeah, I always in my entire childhood, right? You always like look at these movies with snow and stuff like that, and it's like summer in Latin America, right? So it's kind of like
We have
different.
a lot of rain.
Yeah, guys. Well, I was thinking of like having just a couple of topics to close the year. It's I think people are beginning to like it, and I'll just start with introduce ourselves again. Alvaro Mendizabal, hosting this awesome duo of amazing scholars and performers of our instrument, classical guitar. Fabio Sanon, professor of Royal Academy of Music. Judicael, professor in the Conservatory of Genève in Switzerland, and in France. Yeah, man. Thank you so much again for doing this. I have an anecdote. I'll start here. Yeah. So I went with my wife to see the Mark Minkowski and Les Musiciens du Louvre in the Staatsoper in Berlin. They were played the Requiem of Mozart. Yeah? I really wanted to see this. Super cool. He took very interesting tempos. Everything went as you expect, right? Great Baroque orchestra. Best brass section from a period instrument ensemble that I've heard. Amazing. And then as I'm like making the line to pick up my jacket, someone approaches me and is like, "I heard your podcast." I'm like, no introduction, nothing. I was like, what the hell?
Well,
And it was a Uruguayan student. I don't quite remember his name anymore, but like greetings, who came here to study with Marco. So thank you both. I think the people that are hearing it are liking it. So I thank you again, and I think the longer we continue, into next year, would be awesome. If you guys are still up for it. But thank you. That was a very, very funny moment. Doing the line in the Staatsoper in Berlin.
It's heartwarming to know that there are some guitar students who are going to watch, a Mozart Requiem with Minkowski and everything. So yeah, it's heartwarming.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you kind of have to do it in Berlin, right? That's one of the things that I'm like, I really wish, more and more. It was kind of like Berlin has all of this culture to offer, but as we know, like where the students in the competitions, etc., wanted to go was not necessarily Berlin for a while, right? So it's I think it's very nice to see the community in guitar kind of growing in the city. So yeah, and because then you're here and then you go see the orchestra or the opera, and like it's just great. But yeah, I mean, so I think a lot happened between the last few weeks. Merry Christmas to both.
And for you,
Merry Christmas. Yes, and I think I wanted to talk about like kind of looking back at the year, And then looking forward to 2023, what are things that kind of excite you about next year? The things should be kind of back to more normal for most of the music world, or the economy is a different thing. But I also wanted to start with someone that is super special for, I think, us three, you know, and that who just turned 70 years old, and actually I shared birthdays with him, and it's Sergio Sad, you know. So I kind of wanted to dedicate like some minutes to just maybe share like a funny anecdote from Sergio. And happy birthday, Sergio. I sent you a note, but it's we're both 26th of December. So I think I'll start there. Like I have a pretty close relationship with Sergio, closer than before, and because I know the family fairly well. But yeah, because we shared birthdays, like the first thing he told me is like, yeah, I also didn't get any present, any extra present during the year. My parents just like kind of, you know, gave me a little bit bigger present on Christmas, and that was it. And I was like, yeah, it's exactly how it's been for me, right? So so happy birthday, Sergio. It's a fantastic inspiration for us, I think, us all. So what are some anecdotes, like your best anecdote, I think, with him for his 70th birthday?
Okay, I don't know. It's difficult to start. I just remember that I met Sergio and his brother when I was 11 years old, in '84, and they were yet known but less, and they were staying in Paris. They had, I guess, a concert, but they stay in my teacher's house, sleeping there. It was Roberto Ausel actually at this time. So I've seen them when I was 11, and they were trying some guitars, something like this. So I remember I heard them privately in Roberto's house, so very long time ago. So that was my first meeting with them. And I remember just at some point, Odair played the Bagatelles by Walter. So that's not really super fancy, but it's fancy for me because I was very lucky to meet them when I was so young. And of course, when you're young, and I didn't really know who they were exactly. You know, I was 11, but after that, even if I was very young, I was trying to all the time listen what they were doing in '84, '85, '86. And after that, I became an adult, so it was much more conscious. I knew who they were. So it was my first meeting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like he played the entire thing for like, I guess, for you, for Roberto, like for.
Yes, they were in his apartment. I don't remember exactly why. I know they were staying in this apartment, you know, in Paris. And I was there for my private lesson, and they were there, so I just stayed and
Wow.
and I saw them. Yeah. Yes. And that's funny because each time I meet both of them, they remember when we met because I was playing some stuff myself for them, and they remember. So it's funny because I was a kid, and it was not so usual, I guess, a kid in Roberto's house I'll play. So I mean, that's something I remember. I will remember forever, I guess.
That's amazing. There's this incredible connection with Sergio, particularly with Paris. His wife was from Paris, and he lived there. And of course, Paris is where they met Piazzolla, you know, and the Piazzolla wrote a tango suite for them. So it's such an important city for. That's amazing. That's awesome. Fabio, what about you? You're from Brazil, right? So you probably know these guys your entire life.
Of course, yeah. Our paths have crossed quite a few times. First time I saw them, it was on TV actually. So the first time I met Sergio, I was 15 probably. I'm from São Paulo, and they used to live in Rio. And I went to do a youth competition in Rio, and I had a friend who was Sergio's student. He said, "Oh, you have to play for him. He'll love listening to you." And I remember very clearly going there and playing something for him. It was probably some Brouwer music, Frank Martin perhaps. I remember having a lesson with him. And his style of teaching was very, very informal, in the sense that he would tease and nag you all the time. He would say, "Well, what do you do? What kind of ridiculous vibrato is what you are doing there? Nobody had ever taught me that way. And I was, for me, it was very funny. I mean, I could never expect, the big guy who had seen on TV teaching that way. And of course, we met again much later. And at that time, Sergio was very much, the teaching guy. I mean, in the sense that he was more talkative. He had a better, more. I mean, he was keener on stopping with the student and looking at technical things and changing things. And Odair was always, behind him, just looking, and he would say one word. But many years later, we were hired to do a collective concert. It was me, the Assad brothers, and Yamandu. And it was a 3-day run in São Paulo. And the concert was very interesting. It started with me playing purely classical music. So I went there, played Bach, Scarlatti, Albéniz, and blah, blah. Then I would play a trio with them. And then they would play their own set of Sergio's music, and Iñata, Leon Piazzolla, and everything. Then they would play a trio with Yamandu, and then Yamandu would play his solos, and would play all four together at the end. It was a big success. It was 3 sold-out concerts in a major hall, and I remember Sergio's wife coming, because I came and I played with my normal concert outfit. I mean, with a bow tie and everything. And then the brothers, they came and then they played with a regular shirt, and Yamandu came and played with his gaucho bombachas and everything. And Sergio's wife came and said, "Wow, but Fabio playing, he looked like a lord playing. From there on, it was all downhill." And Sergio just looked at her and said, "What are you saying?" But it was great fun to play with them, and extremely difficult to play in trio with them. I felt it was much easier to play a duo with Yamandu than playing in trio with them, because they have their own way. I mean, even though it was, of course, very well prepared for playing with them, they have a way with the rhythm and the communication that is kind of magical. See, you don't quite get into it. So
it's metaphysical almost, no? Like they communicate.
I mean, you feel that I was playing together, but it was not comfortably together. It was weird to play with them at first. I had to get used to it. It's extremely intuitive, but they have their own accent, their own pronunciation of everything. So it was a great experience for sure. I mean, playing with my idols.
This must have been like around 2007, something like that.
Yeah, it was sometime.
Because
11 years ago. Yeah.
I have an anecdote. Last time I saw Sergio in Paris, actually, they invited me for dinner, and they just said, "Oh well, some friends are gonna come over, but like we're making lasagna." And at the time, like Angela was also there. They kind of, I think they still do this. Like they spend some time in Paris, like every summer, a couple of months at least or something. And then I just show up, like stupid student with my guitar and stuff like that. And who's in for dinner? It's Yamandu and Eloise, right? And I remember we stayed until very late, just talking about stuff. And I think they mentioned this. It must have been right before or right after, something like that. But I remember them saying that. So that's oh my God.
No, they're great people to hang around with.
Yeah, and that was the only time I ever met Yamandu. Actually, he probably doesn't remember. But yeah.
Well, he will. But there is one thing about my first meeting when I was 15. We are talking about 1982, so they were not a big name internationally speaking yet. And I remember very clearly that I had a lesson with him at one of his students' house because he didn't have a place to teach. Wow. So he went to his student's flat because they had a big room and it was a kind of central place.
And this is Sao Paulo?
That was in Rio.
Oh, okay.
And years later, I mentioned that to Sergio and he said, well, yeah. He said, it was very strange because, of course, we were already, a big name in Brazil, but nobody else knew us. And he said, I remember very clearly 1983, it was the year when things started to catch on because we had 4 transatlantic airfares to pay on our credit card. And he said it was the first time we had, a calendar outside of Brazil because he said, he clearly remembered that he was in debt for playing the airplane tickets. So, I mean, he said, oh, I was already 30, 31. So, I mean, if students are watching this, look, even the Sa brothers, they went through some difficulty and that they were doing some kind of teaching for, I mean, private teaching before they managed to make a proper career. So, I mean, everybody starts the same way, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, that just reminded me. Sometimes at some point we should start having some guests. You know, in addition to the three of us, maybe Serge is a good option. I'm pretty sure he'll be up for it. Yeah. I mean, San Francisco is also such an important city for me, for Judicael, right? Like I've lived there for 4 years. We kind of coincided some of those months. So usually, like when you, okay, of course you play, like you met them when you were super young, right? But like at which point, like when you were already yourself, like when you were like on your way to be the artist you are now, like how was that kind of relationship again? Was that until San Francisco, or like did that brought you closer? Because that I mean, I remember learning Invierno Porteño, for instance, after seeing you play Sergio's arrangement in Mexico. I think it's an old YouTube video, like that almost looks black and white. And how was? Did you guys stay in touch, or like how was this reconnection with Sergio?
I mean, with Sergio probably less. I had a bit more contact with Odair because at some point I wanted to study with him. I just couldn't technically because it was too difficult in this conservatory. I had to do too much formation musicale. So, but because he was in Belgium. But the thing I can say is, as a young guitarist, there's a lot of things I used to like a lot, and I don't like it so much anymore because my taste changed, the way of playing changed. And one of the few things that stay very exactly the same is what I feel when they play. Is you know, it's really funny because my taste really changed. I didn't decide, but some stuff that I really like, I don't like it so much anymore. And I really was really fond of their playing, you know, since I was 11, 12, 13, and I still having exactly the same feeling. And I have that without nostalgia. It's not, you know, sometimes you like stuff just because you like it when you were very young, but I'm sure it's not linked with that. It's just because I like the same way I used to like the way they play. So this didn't change. So this is one of my common tastes who didn't change through the years.
Wow, so that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, really, and really, you know, I listen a lot of piano and guitar, and there's really a lot of things that I really don't like at all anymore. And I would say it's a lot linked also with, you know, the way people play Baroque music. I mean, my taste just dramatically changed. And for piano, there were some pianists I really like that I don't like anymore. And same a bit with guitarists, and with them, it's still exactly the same. I'm really feel the same. So this is the contact I always kept, which is something personal because it's not really linked with them, but it's linked with myself.
Wow. And when you were in San Francisco, like did you get closer at that point? Because like he always goes back, you know, now he's kind of there, right?
Yeah. Of course, I've seen them and him during festival before being in San Francisco. But of course, in San Francisco, we met much more. We also play some pieces together. I mean, with the other teacher, the three other teacher in the conservatory, David Barenboim, Mark Teichholz, and Richard Savino. So we play some quintets. We share some concerts, and of course, we even been in some. I don't know how to say because it looks weird if I say that, but to some kind of private clubs for you know, like. How can I say, you know, for people who are in the culture in San Francisco, so they have some kind of meeting. So we spent some time. We even spent one Thursday, I guess. So it was probably 4 years ago. So yes, I met him much more. But and also because, you know, David Tannenbaum has a lot of contact. Mark Teichholz is very close to him, and so I had the chance to meet him much more. And he's also very easy to get along, and yes, I mean, it's very difficult for me to separate the proximity with the fact that they are among my favorite musicians. So everything is a bit mixed.
No, I mean, we all love Sergio. Like from here, from this little corner. Happy birthday, happy 70. And you know, I see Natalia's playing some new pieces. You've also started playing some like the new arrangement of Libertango, which I kind of want to start trying. It's amazing. Like I had a discussion.
Actually, she recorded for the string Snowblock a new piece written by Sergio a few months ago, and that was posted actually for his birthday, for his 70th birthday.
Just for those who don't know what we're talking about, here we go.
Natalia Lipinskaya.
Yeah, that's Natalia playing Yahtzee. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Amazing piece.
I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but it's based on the game Yams, you know, a game that you play. Yeah.
No. It's awesome. Go check it out. We love you, Sergio. Hopefully we can have you here for some nice chat. And yeah, I mean, just for those who don't know necessarily what you were mentioning, Judicael, they have an amazing series, probably the best in the US, called the Omni Guitar Series, run by Richard Patterson. Send big highs to Richard. And they have one concert a year where like the professors of the San Francisco Conservatory play. They call it like Oak Street, whatever, because it's like where the conservatory, like the address of the conservatory, and like that's I think when you see all of these collaborations between the different professors and guests and etc. And I know that they always tell anecdotes and things like that in the concert. So if you happen to be around San Francisco, go check out that series. That's really cool. Thank you, folks, and happy birthday, Sergio. Kind of moving on, right? Just kind of on the news side, talking about Sergio. Actually, he won the Latin Grammy like the day that our last episode kind of hit. So on November the 18th, let me share my screen again so people see what we're talking about. On November 18th, Berta Rojas, another fantastic player, and I think honestly, like kind of somewhat, you know, we don't mention. I at least, you know, not many mention, you know, Berta, like, you know, because she doesn't tour Europe too much and stuff like that. But she's had one of the most amazing careers. Like I think I remember, it's twice Latin Grammy winner. Like in Paraguay, she's like a major personality, like appearing, like she has major sponsorships, etc. And Sergio won on the piece that was dedicated to her, and she won for her album. Always incredible artist. I think it's a role model. You know, many times when I talk to people and they like, we look at, you know, labels and management and like concert in fancy places, but this woman, I mean, it's incredibly impressive. So hats off again to Berta. Great piece, actually, also from Sergio. So the guy never stops. So congrats on that. Yeah, I mean, so here it is from the Grammys Best Classical Album, Legado, and best contemporary composition for Sergio Sá. Very nice. For Anido's Portrait. Very cool. Do you guys hear the album? Have you guys check it out? Because like it's not, it doesn't kind of make.
I haven't heard.
No, not me. Also, same.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, it's on the, you know, it's on the streaming services, etc. But it's a cool piece. It's a cool piece. I like it. Multi-movement, which is always you know, needed. So yeah, I mean, exciting times, and as we know, Mac is nominated for next year's Grammy as well. So yeah, you know, wishing luck for the guitarists, right?
I'm very happy for Berta because apart from all her proactivity towards her career, she's an excellent player and she's a Latin American woman. I mean, it's as good as it gets, isn't it?
Yeah, and incredible life story, comeback as well. I mean, it's very public that she's faced, you know, the cancer. So she's a survivor as well. So very well deserved. Yeah, I mean, I think she doesn't tour in the guitar festivals or in the guitar world too much, but the times that I've come across her, really nice human being and great player. Awesome. Okay, look, we're 3 days before the new year, so looking back, let's play a little game. So highlights, lowlights. I'll let you guys start. So what do you guys think have been like, or what are you gonna remember 10 years from now or 5 years from now, or whatever, from this 2022? Like, in no particular order, like, and then what are the things that kind of disappointed you? Let's do first round, like on the highlights, right? What do you think are like highlights for this year, for the guitar, for yourselves, for your students, for you know, two obvious things for students, but yeah, I mean, just putting it out there. Let's start with I don't know, you, Fabio.
Okay, well, that's I had to think a bit about it. It has not been a particularly memorable year for me personally, so I'm going to talk about people I know. Definitely the fact that at least two very bright young players managed to break through into what looks like it's going to be a big career. So personally, I'm very happy for my ex-student Plinio Fernandes for his first album release and all the success he has achieved with that, going #1 on Billboard and everything. And not only that, I'm happy for the fact that he's playing even better now, which is very difficult after you start to get into this kind of demand. I'm very happy to see that he's become better. Arcaro. He's a Brazilian guy who studies in London. He's doing his PhD with George Benjamin at King's College, and he's been selected for 2 young composer programs, nothing less than both London Symphony and London Philharmonic. So somebody who is not yet 30, he's had 2 big pieces commissioned by the 2 major orchestras in London. I think it's as brilliant a start for a compositional career as it could get. A guy who's already composed a guitar concerto and has an extensive catalog of guitar compositions, having been a guitarist himself in the past. So I very much look forward to what he's going to write from now on. So yeah, these are 2 people who are very close to me who managed to get a big breakthrough this year. So that is what I'm sure that I'm going to remember 10 years from now.
That's awesome. I mean, could you repeat the name of the composer?
Rafael Marino Arcaro. A-R-C-A-R-O. Yeah.
Cool. We'll check it out. And then, so are these commissions like he will write for the ensembles and have premieres and things like that?
These 2 orchestras, they have young composer programs. So you are selected for that, and if you become a finalist, they commission a big piece to be premiered. So he had a violin concerto premiered under the conducting of Brett Dean, which is not bad.
All right. Well, much success there. Awesome, yeah. But I know you're a very humble guy, but if you had to choose something for yourself, like what would you call that, like for this year? Because I know you've been doing some conducting. Year. Yeah, come on. There must be something.
For me, it has been a kind of restart year because the 2 COVID years were very tough, not only because of the COVID effect, but also for personal reasons. For me, these were 2 terrible years. I mean, everything that relates to personal life went in disarray in these 2 years. So now in the second half of 2022 is the first time that I look at the mirror and say, wow, now we are back to life to a certain extent. So I'm very happy with that. And with the release of my album, playing the Mignone 12 Etudes is something that I've always wanted to do since I started playing them almost 20 years ago. and finally I managed to release that. I know it doesn't make
Yeah.
a big impact internationally, but I think it's there for people to enjoy and get acquainted with in the future, and I'm pretty sure that would be a kind of kickstart for Mignone being more recognized.
No, and
So
I
I'm
know
very
you're a champion of that. I
yeah.
mean, I've heard you play those live in Koblenz many times, and like it's a needed thing. And no, really cool. And that's with Guitar Co-op, right? I think, right?
That's
So
Guitar Co-op. And I also recorded Mignone's Guitar Concerto with the São Paulo Symphony. That should be released next year, so it's already it's ready. They are
gotcha.
just waiting for the violin concerto to get ready so they can release the CD.
So you see, Fabio is just humble, like not a big year, just recorded with Sao Paulo Symphony, right?
Yeah, but
No,
they are
no,
partners.
congrats,
I've
Fabio.
worked with them, on a regular basis. So
Yeah.
it's,
No,
of course,
awesome.
I'm not telling them down. Of course, it's a major. It's perhaps the major orchestra in South America, but
Yeah.
it's an institution I work with very often. So.
No, awesome. And big regards to Marcelo as well. It's awesome what he does with so many albums that just let's be true. Let's be honest. Probably other institutions won't find the motivation to release. So super needed. So go check it out, buy it, listen to it. Julie,
Yeah, just
what about
saying
you?
a word about Marcelo.
Yeah.
He doesn't like people talking much about him because I mean he was one of the most brilliant guitarists of his generation, and he quit playing the guitar before he was 30 to pursue a career in business and banking. And nowadays, when he was one of the biggest sponsors of classical music, of culture in Brazil, he's the single person who invests most private money in the arts in Brazil. So of course, many people think there is something behind it, but it's not. It's just because he comes from the arts and he feels this kind of personal imperative for helping Villa Lobos Museum, the Cultura Artística Society in São Paulo, and the São Paulo Symphony. I mean, he's a major sponsor for all three institutions. And of course, Guitar Co-op is because he has a vision what the guitar should do, and he has the means to put that together. I mean, he's not a direct sponsor to it actually, but he managed to put it together. So we are all very grateful to him.
No, amazing work. If you're listening, big hugs, Marcelo. We go not as back as you two, but yeah, I know the guy very well and really an inspiration. Julie, how's your 2022 been?
I mean, it's difficult. Actually, I was listening very carefully what Fabio was saying and still trying to think about what I could say. It's difficult. I should have been prepared for that because it's the end of the year. It's a kind of classic question. Yeah, I mean, if I talk about students, I mean, of course, obviously there were this signature of Raphael Fayatre for the gramophone, which was a big event. I mean, even if I knew it last year, but technically it happened this year. So yes, Raphael. Lovro also won GFA, Lovro Peretic, he won GFA. And I mean, it's kind of unfair to say some name who have, because they have the biggest success, because in fact, there's a lot of things that can happen that can be spectacular and not known because there's no official rewards for that. So let's say those two guys. And actually, yes, no, one thing that was great is, as teacher in conservatory, you never know if you really help the student, you try your best, but at least I was able, thanks to my conservatory, to help Marco Topschi to be in Switzerland and to do a master and be in the legal situation regarding the terrible situation in Ukraine, and thanks to my school, who allow him to do a degree in the school. So I was very happy of that to be able to help for this. I mean, I did very little. In fact, this is the school who did that, but at least with that, I know that I was at least useful for one person. And I hope that anyway, the situation will be better with Ukraine. And
absolutely. Big hugs to Marco. I know he played, talking about Marcelo, Brazil, right? He played recently in the Cultura Artística series, right, in Sao Paulo. And that just kind of like brings together all our little worlds, right? Like, from being your student Marcelo supporting the arts, and Brazil as the kind of center point of guitar in Latin America at the moment. Really great. And yeah, I saw him in Koblenz as well, played amazing. So yeah, big hugs for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, actually, he was helped a lot by Koblenz Festival. They did so many paperwork to allow him to be able to leave Ukraine. And after that, my school did really the best for this. So let's say that those three things were kind of the highlight with my students. For me, I mean, actually, I finished a CD with Fa Assad for GHA.
Nice.
Yes,
nice.
that I did. I finished, I guess, 1 year ago. And I'm just waiting for the final cut, and it will be released, I don't know when. So, I mean, for exactly the same reason we're talking at the beginning, the proximity I was all the time feeling with the brothers. And so I was very, very specifically very happy and glad to be able to record with Fa Assad. So, yes.
That's your first recording for GHA, right?
What?
That's your first recording for GHA, right?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
That's all. Can you can we give us some spoilers on the repertoire? Or
yeah, I mean, there's nothing really secret. There's a lot of pieces from transcription from Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, Scriabin that a friend did for me. Yeah. And there's a piece that will be by Atanas Kuzanov based on those composers, like 5 little pieces based on those composers. So it's and one piece by Bogdanovich, Dushan, Sonata number 2, and one piece he composed for me, one prelude and one fugue. So it will be very linked with East of Europe. And so yes, that was my personal highlight, I would say. And if I want to talk about something a little bit outside myself, some concerts I've seen. Actually, I've seen I've seen a super good concert by Arkady Volodos. In particular, the second part, he played, this Kindersenden that I heard many times, Scène d'Enfant by Schumann. But
I heard him in the Philharmonie with the Kindersenden.
It was really special.
Oh,
very
that was
unique.
amazing.
Yeah. And it was very impressive because this is a piece that tons of pianists can play because they're not very demanding technically. And he really managed to do something a little bit magic. So I guess for concert, it would be this specific moment by him.
Wow. It's so funny. I went to the concert with Tal Hurwitz, who also lives in Berlin. And he's a huge fan of Sokolov. So, for anyone that wants to win a place in Tal's heart, just mention Sokolov. And both concerts were within, I think, a couple of months, 2 or 3 months with each other. But Volodos played first. I think it was April, and Sokolov always plays in May in the Philharmonie. And I remember we were walking out, just saying, it's like, how the hell is Sokolov gonna do something better, man? Because it was incredible. It was really, and I distinctly remember the Kindersenden taking very interesting tempos and just like colors. Oh my God, it was really, really nice. Yeah, and it was my first only time seeing Volodos, but I wanted to see him for such a long time. We'll talk about like what to expect in the new year, but I have one that's happening fairly soon. But yeah, I mean, I think for me. Okay, let kind of starting this is a nice kind of highlight. Let's be honest, like I you guys very much know how much I love this instrument, this community, and just getting my feet on the water again has been very nice. Starting to practice a lot, well, a little bit more than before, which was nothing. So it was good. Going back to Koblenz and seeing people in a guitar festival again, that was really nice. Seeing old friends, seeing you again, Judicael, and seeing people playing live again was really great, right? That was really nice. And of course, I think for what has been my passion for all these years, like seeing the guitar having more of a place in the classical music world. Just seeing all of the both Plinio and Rafael, and how the schedules of Pablo and Milos have gotten back to normal, so to say, and like lots of really interesting orchestras. Like next year's Pablo's schedule is insane. Like 3 concerts with Chicago Symphony, blah blah blah. Like later in the year in Schloss Elma, like really nice, and Milos, right? Like doing the Royal Albert Hall solo again.
I should also mention, if you don't mind, I would also mention somebody I'm not related to in any way, but it's Sean Shibe. I mean, especially in the English press, he really, I mean, he got all the mentions and the prizes for best album and blah blah blah. So, and somebody who's quite experimental at times. So I'm very happy for the way he's led his career.
Right. Thibaut Garcia as well. He did an amazing tour with.
I don't follow him so much, but absolutely.
He did an incredible tour with Philippe Jarouski. Went all the way to Mexico as well. Like super cool stuff. And Gabriel, for instance, right? I heard Gabriel also recorded an album with Marina Viotti, who's like major soprano. Like I saw her actually in Così fan tutte in the Staatsoper. That should have been recorded with Barenboim, and she has recorded it with Barenboim for Medici TV. So yeah, that is super cool from Gabriel as well. So it seems like it's not just one guy or two guys. There's a lot of like amazing female guitarists that are coming up as well, getting management, etc. Like we talked last year. So I think the guitar moved this year more than the last 5 combined or something like that. It was really awesome to see, and makes me really hopeful for next year. So
I'm glad that I mentioned guitar and voice recording because it has always been something that I've played. That's the thing I like to do the best. I mean, I love to accompany singers, but there's always that kind of thing. Oh, this is a guitar fest where people don't want to hear singers, or no, the famous singer so and so, she could come and play with the piano and everything. So we never quite, managed to make it a kind of viable format. And it's the most incredible repertoire you can imagine. And I also managed to make a recording with an incredible soprano, Camilla Tittinger, who was a finalist at the Cardiff Singer of the World, and now she's singing here and there. I mean, all the major opera houses in Europe, or Garsington Opera and everything. And we made a full CD for Naxos of all Brazilian songs by Villa Lobos, Krieger, Ronaldo Miranda, Guerra Peixe. I mean, all the major Brazilian composers who wrote songs for voice and guitar. We made a full album of that. And I'm very happy that is, again, something that has become viable again. Because I had lost faith in it, and just the fact that
it seems like such an obvious thing, right? Yeah. Because doing a quick count of hands, like I think Milos is the only. Milos is more like a solo commissioning pieces like that, more Julian Breamish, John Williamish kind of strategy. But Aguirre is doing a solo thing or a guitar and voice thing. Thibaut Garcia is doing one. Gabriel Bianco is doing one. Pablo Sainz is touring with Isabel Leonard in the Met and in Hollywood, in Hollywood Bowl, and like no, not Hollywood Bowl, but in LA Opera, and like they're doing a lot of dates in the States with soprano and guitar, and like you said, I mean, it's been kind of like a renaissance, right? Because Yepes and Teresa Berganza was there.
It was one off. It was one off. I think that the last major, regular collaboration was Julian Brim, Peter Pierce. I don't remember anybody who had a kind of regular
Schweffe and Ian Bostridge. Schweffe and Ian Bostridge.
Yeah, well, they played a lot for a while. That's right, but that was once a year. Apparently, that was it. Unfortunately, because it was a very nice duo, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot happened. Wow, I think a lot happened. It's been, with ups and downs and everything, but very beautiful. I think that the fact that music can help people like Marco. You can imagine in Berlin lots of concerts, so much concerts for Ukrainian musicians or Ukrainian musicians that are on exile here for refugees, etc. But but yeah.
Are the conservatories there making a special case for the Ukrainian musicians? Because we did
I
at the
think
Royal
so.
Academy in London. I mean, this year I have
Yep.
2 Ukrainian students.
Yep.
New
Yeah.
Ukrainian students.
Yeah, no, I know for a fact that they're making special efforts on that regard. Yeah. We heard a couple of students from early music from, I think it was Hans Eisler, no, or UDK early music department, that they took some students there, but yeah, I mean, it's almost over, folks. So how about we talk about next year? What are you guys looking forward for next year? Who wants to start?
I'll let you start now.
Oh, what I do for next year, I don't know.
Well, yeah, the release of the album, I guess, right? That's one thing.
Yes. That okay. This and I don't know. Usually, I never make any plan because I don't know. I'm not superstitious, so it's not. I wanted to say because I'm superstitious, but I'm not. It's just I'm not like this. So I just don't make any plan. I guess I would like. I don't know. I mean,
Do you have any
I guess
concerts
I have
particular?
Yeah, I have some concerts, so I would like to play good at my concerts. And but I can't really predict this. I mean, I'm going to work for this, but after that, I don't know. I mean, I hope there will be some concerts. This is just, I mean, not just mine, concerts. Let's say this. So I hope everything will be fine, which I can't really decide. And no, I don't know. I just would like to, I will be 50 actually in 6 months. So I would like to still fresh.
Oh my God, we need to do a Judy turning 50 special or something like that.
No, actually, I'm very lucky because we're talking about birthday in 26 December. My birthday is in the middle of the holidays in July, so nothing really special happened. Most of the time, I don't have any present, and actually, I want exactly the same for my 50. Nothing.
Wow, that's very deep. But wow, I mean, there's the GFA, right? It's talking about 50 years of
yes,
the GFA.
I will be in New York. Yes. I will
Mm.
play also. So yeah, I will go to GFA in New York.
We'll
so
probably meet there then.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's in New York. Let's say. Yes, I really like this city. Actually, when I won GFA many years ago, after I won, I just changed for a lot of money my plane ticket to spend 1 week in New York. So yes, I will like New York.
Wow.
I will be very happy. So maybe usually when I give concert, I try to arrive late and leave kind of early, but I will do exactly the opposite this time. I will try to arrive a long time before and leave after.
Very nice. And Fabio, you're also playing, right? There?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm scheduled to play there.
Yeah, because it's most of the winners. I cannot promise anything, right? Because you never know. But it will be nice to do one of these live, like there. I've also lived in New York. Yeah, that would be freaking awesome. Honestly, it's one of the things. But yeah, I mean, would be great to meet up in New York, since both of you are going to be there, and it's a very special moment.
We can maybe ask Martha to join us or somebody.
Yeah, of course. Why not? I mean, I think it will be very nice. Very special that they're doing it in like that city, right? Like it's a big moment for the community.
I've always thought that they should, forget this thing of holding the GFA convention every year in a different place and do just La Jolla Guitar Festival. That would be great.
No, but then people will have too much fun, right? That can also be dangerous. Like, where's the next competitor? Like surfing, right? Yeah, something like that. Oh God, yeah. I mean, talking about concerts, are there some concerts that you're looking forward to seeing? You can, like in Paris.
I mean, normally I'm supposed to see Martha Argerich in January in Paris. she's supposed to play. I say she's supposed because she was supposed to play like 2 weeks ago, Beethoven #2, but she didn't play. I mean, she didn't come for health reason, but maybe I think it's not too bad what she had. Yeah. So in January, normally she's supposed to play. I think Prokofiev #3, if I remember well. So this is the next concert I should see, and I hope it will happen.
In Philharmonie de Paris, or
yeah,
yes. Nice. Okay, this is just like out of curiosity. Like, how do you? Because you guys travel a lot, etc. Like, how do you choose? Because I like to like sit down like an afternoon, watch the entire season, mark with like little post-its, you know, what I'm gonna see, and like start buying stuff, invite friends, etc. But it sounds like yours is more like opportunistic, like something comes up and like in the next month or so, like, or do you also kind of see in advance? Because sometimes, you know, things sell out, right? Like,
I mean, my wife Natalia, the one who played the Assad, she will probably think about what she wants to see more in advance than me. And me, I choose a little bit later, and I have one very good friend who lives very near the Philharmonie, and when he goes, sometimes I just go to join him at the last moment.
Nice.
Antoine Fougeret, it's the guy who's doing a lot of transcription for me and for the Guitar World and the edition company. And he was a former student, so we are very good friends, and he lives like 5 minutes from the Philharmonie. So sometimes I'm not very far. I'm like 15 minutes by the metro. So I don't really decide a long time in advance. And the good thing in classical music is it's most of the time it's possible to have some ticket at the last moment. And without paying overprice. Usually it's the opposite. I mean, for pop, when the person is very famous, it becomes more and more expensive. But for classical, there's a little bit less pressure. So you can all the time get tickets at the last moment.
I think we're cutting here.
Now is my
That's a kind of post-pandemic thing. Teaching in London, I try to arrange my dates, and then I look at Backtrack and say, well, let's see what's going on there, at the Barbican and the South Bank Center and everything. So I sort of arrange my teaching around the concerts that are going on and everything. But the thing is, nothing is sold out any longer. I mean, I remember even in 2019, I saw Martha Argerich playing Schumann Concerto there at the Barbican, and I got a ticket on the spot. I just turned up, and there was a ticket. That is most unusual. I mean, that's most unusual, but I was very surprised actually, because when I was a student back in the 90s, if you wanted to see Martha Argerich or Paulini or Barenboim, you had to queue up for the whole day to get student tickets and that thing, and it was sold out weeks in advance. And nowadays it's not any longer. Even for the very big, I don't know if there are big names who managed to actually sell out, but not any longer.
Yeah, I have to say, I have a very.
I mean, it's not a theory, it's real. I mean, it's kind of dark, maybe it's not nice after Christmas, but okay, I explain you, and this is really for sure. You have usually 2,000 seats mostly, okay? And if people buy a lot in advance, for sure there are some people who die before the concert. For sure. Statistically, on 2,000 people, if you see the average age of the people, some people die. They have to die for sure, and probably even a little bit more now. And usually nobody will climb the money back, for that. I mean, it's not enough money. So you have all the time at the last moment some people who don't come anyway.
Oh my God. You know what?
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's probably true.
Okay. Oh Merry Christmas.
Oh my God. Okay, this is going to short.
Did I ever tell you this? Did I ever tell you the story of the first time I saw Martha Argerich?
No. Go.
No, it was so funny because I had just arrived to London. I got a ticket that was in the last row in the last balcony because it was so expensive. And she played Beethoven first concerto in the first half with harmonicord, and the second half was Beethoven Ninth Symphony. And from where I was sitting, I was with a friend there, and we saw there was a whole row that was completely empty. And my friend said, "Oh, in the second half, we just moved down there and we'll sit there on the empty seats." And that's what we did for the second half. And we sat there, and third signal went off, and then comes Martha Argerich with 3 other people. They had reserved those seats for her. And, and she, "Oh, she'll be here, she'll be here." I said, "Oh, sorry, just sat in the wrong place." She just looked at me and said, "Oh, you're a student, aren't you?" "No, so you stay there. I'll sit by your side." And I was watching the Ninth Symphony with Martha Argerich sitting by my side, and she started to talk to me and said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Brazil." "Oh, so you know Nelson?" And we started to have a conversation just before Harnoncourt came on stage to conduct the Ninth Symphony. That was my first Martha Argerich experience.
That's incredible. Oh my God. That's amazing. Wow.
She was absolutely gracious, lovely person. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the documentary and stuff like that. I mean, it's just this personality, like lights up the room, and it's like, yeah. Wow, that's amazing, but very unusual program, I have to say. I mean, because like second half Beethoven's Ninth, like that's an hour. Like, wow.
Yeah,
very interesting.
The programs were longer then. I mean, the strength for shorter programs is something from the 2000s.
Wow, that's insane. Well, great moments. Okay, last thing before I go, because like we're for whatever reason talking about Martha Argerich, and I have tickets for the comeback of Barenboim, January 6th. So next Friday, cross fingers, folks. Like I hope the concert happens. Like I have tickets. It's Tchaikovsky, Berlin Philharmonic, Barenboim conducting, Argerich in the piano. So yeah, please take care. Don't drink too much, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, everybody take care.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
No. It will be very special because I saw him in the Val Bunen in the summer, and then he got all sick and canceled everything until until like just a couple of weeks ago, or like last week. And but then the last thing I saw of him, he was wearing an Argentina shirt. So maybe the win got him happy. Sorry, Judy. I know we shouldn't be talking about that. But it's life. but oh well. Yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, will be awesome. Like really looking forward to hopefully crossing fingers meet both of you and next year in New York. Fabio, go for it. 2023. What you have looking forward for? What gives you hope?
Well, for me,
come on, internet.
New management, both especially here in South America, I managed to get some pretty good gigs for next year, playing with orchestras and everything. So you know what? I have a kind of renewed interest in playing the guitar, because it's not that I didn't practice or anything, but it was that kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to give my concert, and I had to be professional and nice. And now I feel like going further again, something that I haven't felt for the past 4 years or so. So I'm practicing for myself now. It's not only for the concerts, you see.
And you say you have new management. Who's that? No,
I have new management from London, from England. Yes.
Very nice.
Well, you know that everything has changed a lot there. Yeah. So these people who used to belong to Hazard Chase and they have created their own company. So I'm starting with one of those.
Oh man, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, the industry's fragmenting, stuff's happening, but yeah, I mean, life has to keep going, right? And if you have some of these experienced people helping you out, helping any guitarist, that's great. Like what I do see, I think it's very interesting that there's this kind now more of trust in the instrument, right? I was chatting with one of these folks. I prefer not to say the name. One of young artists that have big management now, but this person has had big management in Europe for a while, has been looking for management in the States for years now, and they, based on what they're doing right now with their career, if it was a pianist or a violinist or a conductor or anything, they would have had management in the States like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But because it's the guitar, like there's this still kind of distrust, and it's been much harder than to get to where this person sat in Europe. And but it's a discussion, right? I think I hope this new wave kind of helps, especially like artists like Plinio, like they have general management, etc., and Rafael have general management, but like, it's important to have this type of support in the major markets, right? Like in Asia, you kind of have to have some trauma agent there, like etc., right? But yeah, and I really hope the trend kind of continues, because there's a lot of talent still out there now. Yeah, folks.
Let's keep fingers crossed. I trust it will be forward for us for many years to come.
Yeah, no, I'm really hoping to see the kind of but okay, that is like for your own, Fabio, in general, like with the guitar, like with is there any festival that you're particular interested in, like besides the GFA we just talked about, or is there any event that you're like kind of looking forward next year?
Well, not really next year, but I'm not even playing in Koblenz next year. The thing is, I run this festival in July, and they'll be all taken by it. I mean, we have to come back as well. In big time. It's a big orchestral festival, so it's a lot of work. I simply cannot do anything in July. That's all. I mean, I have to work 100% for this festival, and we'll have some big artists, big conductors, and everything. So I had to be in Brazil for that.
In campus, no? Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, from my end, just continuing this thing. Crossing fingers to see you folks in New York. I don't think I'll attend Koblenz this year because, I mean, I'll probably be in Peru at the time. But also maybe just starting to play again. Yeah, I think I've been practicing a little bit more, and then nothing fancy, right? Just very, very small places, just to feel like I still have fingers and hands, and yeah, just continuing to see the evolution of this of all the artists that we have. I think that'll be awesome, and hopefully attending the concert of Argerich and Barenboim. Yeah, folks. I mean, it's been a real pleasure. We've been chatting for like around an hour, and I can only thank you guys for giving me your time. I know it's kind of late, but yeah, I really appreciate these episodes. I hope we continue them, and we can bring guests and continue to have good fun just chatting about all of this. Thank you so much, folks.
Hi.
Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Take care, and
Bye.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Hopefully we'll do that over a bottle of wine in New York.
Let's do it. Or I'm happy. Take care. Bye.
Happy New Year.